Hi guys, this is anti-guru Sarah Knight with the very first installment of Advice from My Pool. I solicited some questions on Instagram last week, and now I'm filming the answers to 3 questions. This video is available. If you're watching it, it means you subscribe to my newsletter, because it is available exclusively to those of you who are so kind to subscribe to my newsletter, and I hope that you will then forward the newsletter to your friends who don't subscribe and tell them that they should, so that they can get the second episode of Advice from My Pool. So the first question, little self-serving, but it was a question that came in from a reader, is how can I calm the fuck down before your new book, Calm the Fuck Down, comes out? So you don't have to wait too long. It comes out on December 31st in the US and Canada, and January 1st in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Basically anywhere books are sold in English, it will be out in the new year for you. But I would like to share with you one of my main tips from Calm the Fuck Down before that happens, which is understanding the probability of occurrence. So if you're somebody like me who's constantly wondering what if, what if coconut falls on my head while I'm recording Advice from My Pool, and up to and including really serious what ifs, stop. Think about the probability of that thing occurring. And so I actually talk about in the book, I have a Knight Shitstorm Scale, and it's like a hurricane scale. It's 1 through 5, 1 being highly unlikely and 5 being inevitable. So if you're worried, if you're freaking out, if you're anxious, if you're sad about something that hasn't happened yet, shit that hasn't happened yet, ask yourself, how likely is this to occur? And if the answer is highly unlikely or unlikely, possible but not likely, anywhere in that 1, 2, 3 zone of Knight shitstorms, then stop worrying about it. You don't need to be worrying about that. You might think that's easier said than done, but I find that when I do think about things logically and rationally, it really does help me stop freaking out about them. So that is one way that you can calm the fuck down before my new book, Calm the Fuck Down, is available on December 31st or January 1st, depending on which half of the globe you live in. Okay, so we are back with question number 2 in the inaugural episode of Advice from My Pool with anti-guru Sarah Knight, author of the No Fucks Given Guides. The second question is near and dear to my heart. Somebody wrote to me and said, how do I start a conversation with my doctor if I think I'm suffering from anxiety and maybe even mild depression? And so the first part of the answer is, thank God you're already thinking about talking to a doctor. Good on you. That's exactly what you should be doing. Look, and I know not everybody has access to affordable health care. However, there are resources. There are free resources online. I'm sure you have friends who have anxiety and who talk to their doctors about it, so you could also start a conversation with them. But if you are going to your doctor, I would be very clear about your symptoms and say, I think this may be related to anxiety. I think it's really important, especially for women who don't always get believed about their symptoms, or who don't always believe themselves that the symptoms are things that they should be concerned about and shouldn't just shut up and live with, that you are really honest and forthcoming when you have the opportunity to be sitting in front of a doctor who can help you. Personally, I had undiagnosed anxiety for a long time that manifested in shortness of breath. I thought maybe my bra was too tight. Nausea, I constantly thought I had the beginnings of food poisoning. And I had really terrible headaches, but they weren't migraines, and I wasn't sure what they were. And eventually I had a big old panic attack, and that was really what pushed the needle for me in terms of going to a doctor. But if you are going to sit in front of a doctor, be prepared to talk about all of your symptoms, say what you think you have, especially if you might be suffering from depression, and listen to all of the advice that they can give you and all of the ways that they can help you that may be pharmaceutical in nature or may not, and give it a shot and see what works. And it might take a little while to work it out. I have faith in you. Okay guys, we're here with Advice from My Pool with anti-guru Sarah Knight. We are on the third and final question of the first episode of Advice from My Pool. If you don't know, I am the author of the No Fucks Given Guides, including my newest book, Calm the Fuck Down, which comes out on December 31st and January 1st, depending on which hemisphere you live in. Although actually maybe everybody is in the same hemisphere. No, Australia is not. So anyway, you can find out more about Calm the Fuck Down on my website, nofucksgivenguides.com. But the third and final question I got from one of my Instagram fans is, are you ever afraid of sharks? And I don't know if that question was like directed toward sharks in my pool, in which case, no. But I think I would be very afraid of a shark if I was near a shark. So my advice for you on that topic would be don't go near sharks. This has been Advice from My Pool with anti-guru Sarah Knight.